and allow other people to come into the conversation. Remember, you can text us directly into the studio or contribute in the chat, either on Facebook or on Zoom.
Cry, but you've given me every reason to smile. And I don't have a reason to lie, because you're already reading my mind.
Is the audio on? I can't seem to hear anything.
And I don't have a reason to be if I can't be with you. And I don't need air in my lungs.
Ustad Zaid, is the audio on? Can you hear?
And I don't need these hands.
Yeah, into the Julia.
I don't get to keep you warm.
Can't hear anything here.
And I don't really need myself if I'll need you. I wake up just to sleep with you. And I open my eyes so I could see with you. And I live just so I could die with you. And I don't really need these fingers if I don't get to caress your spine. I don't need these legs if I don't get to walk by your side. I don't really need to be if I can't be with you. I wake up just to sleep with you, and I open my eyes so I could see with you. I live so I can die with you. Habib, we've been together for 12 years, and you've taught me so many things. You've taught me how to be a woman, and you've taught me how to love. You've given me so much in this life that I could never begin to repay you. There isn't enough I can give you, and I just want you to be happy. And I will work every day to give you that happiness. I would not be the woman I am if I didn't have a chance to go home to you.
eBay has allowed us to grow our store
and have confidence going forward that we're able to expand our business.
Brilliant things happen when you buy from real people. Buy, sell, eBay.
Yeah, the adverts always come in. Ismail, if you can just skip the ads. All right. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to Let's Talk with me, Kasim Kaira, here live on 75W Radio. Today, a very interesting debate, a continuation on the interracial, marriages, intertribal marriages, intergenerational marriages. I'd like to hear Laila Kadbu in the chat room is already saying black man with Asian woman, that will end in tears. Well, the fact that they have come that far means where there is love, actually, you never know. The boundaries, the borders might just be crossed. I'd like to hear your particular experiences. It might actually be, they are still together. Laila Kaddu, that says my. I think that says a lot in terms of the conversation. Remember, you can actually have your contribution live here. We have our conversations here. It's an open chat room where no topic is out of bounds, but we just do that within the decency of and the confines of our religion. It will be very good just to sort of hear your particular experiences, where you come to this story from. What has your experience been like, for example? It would be very interesting, actually, to hear if it is just with tribes, because sometimes you assume, imagine, that it is just about black and white, and that's what stands out. Last week, we heard from two couples, one couple, one black woman who is married to a white German man, and then a black Ugandan who is married to a white woman. Ustad Zaid, are you saying something?
Yeah, unfortunately, we're your main device. We can't see you. It's just your photo on our screens. So can you change to the one you're using? Can it be the main one so that we can watch you on our screens?
Because the laptop is much better as I use the phone. How comes it's not the main one?
You can only see your. You can only watch your.
I can see him.
We can see him. You can see him. I don't know what's wrong with yours.
So the issue might be with you as Sheikh Zaid. This is the only one that is just come on, but you should spotlight the other one that is the main one. I think there's two Kasims there. I can see from what I'm seeing here on Facebook, it looks like it's fine.
It's fine. Sheikh will be fine. Don't worry, Sheikh. Just go on.
Okay, if you can spotlight that then. All right. Thank you very much. I'd like to, and I'm welcoming you to this global conversation. Lots of stories. These are topics that actually have ignited a lot of discussions around race issues. And it's not just race, like I said, it's not black and white or Asian and Caucasian. But it's also about the tribes. People come from different tribes. Some tribes are taboo. They've had a particular history, a history of hatred between the two communities. For example, Buganda and Bunyoro for a long time had issues that were political and administrative. And sometimes you find that a lot of derogatory statements would be attached, for example, to Bunyoro from Baganda, or even probably the reverse might be true, that within Banyoro communities, you find that they are actually also have derogatory terms that they have for Baganda. And I think that the point then is, where do we draw the line? Can we just ignore that? For the younger generation especially, does it matter who you marry? Or can you just take it on? Can you just go ahead and don't care? As long as there is love, everything else can wait. Should we worry about what the community thinks? Because you're not getting married to public opinion, but does it really count in a relationship? I think these are all issues that I'd like us to discuss. Increasingly, also, we are seeing a new phenomenon, which is an intergenerational relationships or marriages coming up. Younger people, younger men getting married to older women, younger women, which is actually, that is even much more prevalent. Younger women getting married to older men. That has been around for quite some time. So the question then was, how does society view you? How does society view your relationship? How has it come up? Are you married to a person that is from a different tribe? Are you married, for example, a person to a different race? It might even be an intergenerational relationship, and you would want to share that. I would be very happy to receive your particular stories on this particular one. Remember, we are live on 75W Radio, as well as live on YouTube and on Zoom via UMMA Connected. Some of your stories have already been making the rounds. I'll try to look into some of the stories. Here, there was one story. Oh God, did I just lose that? I had it lined up. My apologies. I'll just get it in. Yes, Here is from Shukuru Chebuko, who says, this is absolutely beautiful and nice to hear. Many of us are victims of such, and dealing with it is the hardest thing ever. Tadeo Kakunguru Yekwaso says, this is a very important topic. Every day should meditate about and give their perspectives. I'm a Muganda and my wife is a Munyoro, but we are happily married. Welcome to the conversation. I'm sure the chat room now is getting heated up as well. That is on Zoom. Here, Farida says, I don't believe so. I know some couple, Black and Indian, that have been married for more than 10 years. Talha Muhammad Chibur said, I tried out a Moroccan woman, but it's only expenses that wouldn't work out. Is it an expensive wedding or the expenses themselves? And then Laila Kadu says, I remember when I told my mom, Tindina boyfriend on Zoom, my mom gave me that eyesight that said it all. Togeza. Who was on last week on the conversation. She's married to a German man and she's Ugandan. She says marriage to survive is based on kindness, trust, honest, empathy, and love. But community perspective cannot miss, and it will be there. It's time probably to have your discussion, your conversation, to hear your particular experiences. Joy Chapita, are you there? And I'm coming to you, as this conversation is, we always just roll. It's his freestyle. No particular preparation. So if I come to you, it's because I'd rather hear from you and hear your perspective. Please be ready to share your particular experiences. Yes, Joy. Good evening. Oh, I just had you bleeding and then you disappeared. Hello, Joy. Hello.
All right.
Hi, Joy. Yes, I can see you are unmuted. So I was just asking you to start your video.
No, sorry. We're just setting up.
Oh, you're just checking up.
Yeah, sorry. Apologies. Yeah.
All right. No problem. So you're unable to speak where you are at?
No, that's okay.
You're able to speak? You're able to talk?
No, we are not presenting anything. We are just setting up the Zooms.
All right. Okay. No, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. Hajati Zamzam, but I saw a new visitor here. Probably he's here for an experience. I'd like to hear from him if he doesn't, Mark. Mark Torokwa, you're welcome to come. Let's talk with me, Kasim Kaira. Your video was on a few minutes ago. It just disappeared. If you're there, can we invite you into the conversation? Mark, welcome to the conversation. Hello, Mark. I'm trying to get you to unmute yourself. Can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, I have done it.
Welcome to the conversation. Yes, Mark. That name sounds a bit Zimbabwean. Are you from Zimbabwe or am I getting it wrong?
No, I'm from the Republic, Uganda.
Oh, it sounds very Zimbabwean. Welcome to 75W Radio, and the program is Come Let's Talk with me, Kasim Kaira. We are talking about interracial, intertribal, intergenerational. Where do you fall in these three categories?
Yes, I am basically, I fall into sort of tribal, we call it that way.
Intertribal, yes. And yes. You are from?
I'm from Uganda, but my wife is from Southern Africa.
Right, okay. How did that go? How did that go on? How did you meet?
In fact, as far as I'm concerned, this say, I think, what matters really about this topic, it should boil down to the element of love. As long as two people love each other, I think there shouldn't be any problem at all for people to come and get together and marry and have a family.
Right.
You know, currently the world is increasingly becoming a global village. And we are all traveling to, you know, different countries, and even if you are like in Uganda itself, you are not going to be confined in a specific corner, say Ugizu, Acholi, or anyone like that. You are going to be mixing the people from different cultures and tribes.
But Mark, you cannot ignore the fact that there will be traditional pressures. For example, when you went to South Africa, where the tradition is the same, their system of lobola, for example, you going and giving the dowry was different. Or you haven't done the traditional way, you just went for the Western way.
First of all, we met here in the UK.
All right.
So we were all both students, so we had to make a declaration to our parents.
Yes.
Both sides.
Mm-hmm.
When I say South Africa, it's Zambia in particular.
Oh, it's Zambia. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
So we visited Zambia, and you know, I had to declare and observe their cultural sort of understanding of the situation as well, and had to abide by the cultural values.
Mm-hmm.
We're coming back to my corner of the world as well. My wife was not welcome.
Yes.
To my family, and they understood that, you know, we are two people from different countries, and we've made commitments to each other, and what the underlying factor there really is about love. The driving factor.
Yes.
As it's there, I believe that both sides should understand that element, and they sort of, we cannot underestimate the cultural values.
Right. So how did you get around that, Mark? I'm just trying to see, because Zambia and Uganda, the difference is not so much. I mean, you'll get there and it's you know, the Mulibwanji Tulibwino Kai will come into the picture. But when it comes to the in-laws, especially, because while they don't live your life, they are around your lives, and they can sometimes make it very difficult. How was the welcome? Was there, you know, like something that felt like probably there's something that they wanted from the other side that was difficult on your side, or was everything just flowing smoothly?
No, for me, I didn't encounter any difficulties at all. I don't know, probably it was I'm sure other people have encountered different experiences.
Yeah.
But as far as I'm concerned, I didn't experience any difficulties. Of course, there were questions sometimes brought in a very light sort of humor. What would be talking about? What kind of food are you?
What did you find interesting in their culture that is different from your own culture?
I think the culture different is that it was just mainly around. I think from the traditional African point of view, so many similarities in terms of respect. So, but for example, where I come from, in eastern Uganda, we respect the mother-in-law. You cannot share the same, like when the same sit in the same house.
Yes.
So, but going there in Zambia, I found that I was sitting with my mother-in-law in the same.
Your mother-in-law, was she coming to hug you, give you a big hug?
Yes, she hugged me. I was a bit taken back with that.
Did you not feel Muko like shaking?
I felt a bit cold, but to start with, I understood.
Thank you very much, Mark, and thank you very much for joining this conversation.
So the underlying factor there really is about
love. Yes.
Appreciating each other, appreciating each other's cultures, and try to bring these cultures, bridge the gaps, basically.
Yes. Yeah. No, brilliant. Thank you very much, Mark, and continue being on the conversation. Welcome to the program. I always realize the new people, the new faces that appear on, and it's always a very good opportunity to hear from you. Thank you very much, Mark. And stay there, please. Well, music in the chat room. Umar Nyanzi says relationship across races should thrive, but the parties must be ready to forego a few of their values or norms. Otherwise, that would always have a few hiccups. But hey, what relationship doesn't even blood brothers at times don't get along? Leila Kadri, it also matters where the relationship is based. Umar Nyanzi, I think I would like to have you at some point to hear your particular experience. Probably you must have something that the audience or the viewers tonight would like to hear. Zainab Ali Mohammed, another new face here. Zainab, welcome to the program. If you can unmute yourself, please. Hello, Zainab Ali, are you there? Hello, Zainab. Yes, if you can unmute yourself, please, I can see you. Hello, Zainab. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Thank you very much for joining the conversation here. I gather, have you had an interracial relationship or an intertribal relationship? I know at least your dad and your mom are not from the same tribes. Tell us that story, please.
Some other time, not today.
Well, okay. Well, no, I was just wondering whether that would fit into the conversation tonight. Your father is not from the same, country or tribe with your mother. Is that the case? Oh, she's disappeared. People can share.
Yes, that's the case, but not tonight.
Ah, right. Or you are feeling shy. You won't take the courage that Mark just did. Okay, no problem. Hajat Zamzam. Hajat Zamzam. And just to be clear, you can feel free. Yes, of course, this is a conversation that is global. We've got people from different places. It would be best if you can speak in English, but if you can't, Luganda is very welcome. Kiswahili is very welcome. The languages that we can actually, sort of have conversations around. I can see Nambaliwa Muna's hand is up. If you can please unmute her for me. Nambaliwa.
Hello, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm trying to find
Good
you.
Good evening to you all listeners.
Good evening. Are you able to have your video on?
Well. Yeah, my video on, no, because I cannot have my video on.
Okay, that's
I'm
fine.
sorry, but I can give my views, okay?
Yes, please.
Maybe next time I can give my views.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes the way we are brought up or we are nurtured as people from childhood can either hinder us when we grow up or can help us get our spouses.
Mm-hmm.
And this will help. Sometimes you find that when we are being raised up into adults, there is lack of communication.
Mm-hmm.
Some people lack self-esteem as themselves as they are growing up. So with communication, parents to children, there is a barrier. So this one, as someone grows up and it is time for getting married to any other people, to any other man, any other race or any other tribe or any other religion, it becomes a burden to them because most people don't have enough communication between them and their parents. So
did you ever have a dream of who you wanted to marry? There are people who from childhood, they sort of say, and that becomes a dream to pursue.
I didn't have that dream.
Yeah.
By the way, I didn't have that dream. The only dreams I had were the dreams for working. What do I want to be when I grow up? Yes. I want to be a journalist, period. I was not thinking about marriage. Not until it was around 36.
Yeah.
36, 38. I'm like, I think I should get married. I tried first with the Pero Muganda. And we were staying with our parents.
Yes.
36, 37. I'm like, I should try getting married. I got a boyfriend who was my same tribe with me, same religion with me. But unfortunately, I think for him, he wasn't committed, yet for me, I'm committed. I gave up. Then when I came this way in Europe, I was like, when I get any person who is willing to get married to me, to be with me in marriage, I will get married as long as he's a Muslim. Because for me as a person, I wouldn't compromise my religion for anything, no matter what. I don't care. Even if I wouldn't get married, as long as I remain in my religion, that was me from long ago. Okay. I don't compromise my religion for anything.
So
I'm like, time comes, I want to get married. I was like, whoever comes, as long as he's willing to change to my religion, I will get married. Then here comes a chance. I've been pointed out while on the train. The person I've never seen him. I wasn't even looking at anything, and he's like, excuse me, may I have a talk with you? Who are you? I'm this and this. I get to know him. Said, what I did, always when I have something that I don't understand in my life, I usually have sunnah prayers. I woke up, I prayed. I said, dear God, if this is what you have willed for me, let me try out. Never know, it may be the chance.
Yes.
Said, I told my father, I've bumped into someone, introduced myself, he introduced to me, told him he wants to marry me, but I've told him only if he can convert to my religion.
So he wasn't
And doesn't-
Muslim. He wasn't Muslim then.
Yeah, he was a Christian.
Yes.
And it's like, I'm like, I told my father, then he told me, if he has allowed to be a Muslim, you can accept him.
Mm-hmm.
I told him, okay. Then when I talked to him, he accepted. I converted him myself.
So you made him do the shahada. You made him do the test, take the test.
Yes, because I have a grip on what on Islam as my religion. That I don't have to call for someone to convert for me. Someone I can do it myself because I'm a believer. I'm a Muslim. I converted him. 2-3 weeks. He told me, you know what? I want to introduce you to my parents. I'm like, introduce me to your parents. I hope you won't eat, you people, you won't eat me. You are not cannibals. And it's like, no, don't fear. I told him, okay. Then I told my sisters, someone I want to introduce to you. He might be your brother-in-law in the future. I went, I saw my late sister, the elder one, because for him she was staying in Munich, and I was also living in Munich by then. Introduced him, said, okay, if Papa has accepted, then everything is okay. Then I told my father, you know what? I'm going to take up Nikah. He told me there is no problem. If that's what you love in your heart, do what you want.
Yes. And
you
has
love
it been
the person?
Yeah.
Then I told him, I think the person is the right person.
So
my instinct says
I'm
this
trying
is the
to
right
find
person.
out, has it been what you wanted it to be? Has it been love continuously? Well, was it love at first sight, and have you continued to feel the same way about the person that you married?
Every day it grows. What I've seen with love, it grows when you water it. If you don't water it, it is like a flower.
Yes.
When you don't
All right.
water the flower, it will wither.
Brilliant.
But
Amina,
the
thank
more
you
you
very
water
much.
it,
The
more it will
just
flourish.
because I just want to bring in more people into the conversation. Thank you very much, as usual. Just
so
helping.
it's all in all, it's about our parents, the way we communicate with our parents that can help us.
Thank you very much. Okay, Umar Nyanzi, you went into the chat room and you're talking about relationships across races. Have you had a relationship across the races? Are you married to someone who is not from your tribe or whatever race?
Yes, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Welcome to this conversation.
Good evening, everyone.
Yeah.
This is a very, very common topic. I mean, I just wonder why it hasn't been discussed about before, but obviously in line with the Harry and Meghan bombshell about, the interview you just mentioned, a few issues were raised. Personally, yes, you asked me the question. My wife, she is from my native country, Uganda, but she's not from the same tribe as myself.
Yes,
so
and well, from what I know, she's Mswahili, let's say Mchotara. They always say, "Abo basika ne basika ne chai." Bomuwaso ino kugura buto, bomuwaso ino kugura drum ya buto always. Wakiri asike riemvu what about chakulia? Has that been your experience?
To some extent, that's true, but again, it depends. You know, we learn.
You're laughing about it.
They are
How easy was it? I mean, given that, yes, you're from the same country, which means the cultures might be the same, but there are certain differences. What did you find different from your own perspective, where you grew up knowing?
Yes, well, from where I grew up, things were different. I mean, we were mixed cultures. We had all sorts of cultures around. It was a busy town. Bianton is a busy town with all sorts of people. And we grew up knowing that it was normal to have a family where one person is from a certain tribe and the other one is from a different tribe. So for me, it was normal, and actually it has played out to be normal even up to date. But I just wanted to make a point about the Meghan and Harry situation, where we learned that actually love won. I mean, amidst everything that was happening, the racism within the palace as we learned, and everything around that, Meghan and Harry decided to carry on with their love affair, well, with their family. And it is something that we should all take point of. If you agree with your partner and you decide to carry on across any tribe, it could be people from the same country, it could be people from even the same town, but from the south, and the other one is from the north. Again, it is down to love and how you two actually get on. That's why they say
Omar,
it's love at first sight. Yes.
Omar, just to provide a caveat to this particular conversation, you are my younger brother, and therefore that's a caveat that should be well known. Same father, same mother. We are from the same parents. But you notice that you've mentioned something that I find interesting, which is the fact that we have come up from communities that are sort of very mixed. I mean, we've had our own mixed parentage. And that has played maybe to open our world to a situation that many people might not have an opportunity for. For example, when I decided that I was going to get married, and everybody was asking, where is the woman from? And then the next thing is she's a northerner. And in Ankole, in Western Uganda, anyone who is not Nyankole or Muganda, people especially from the north, they are just branded as Abakoko. Yes, that was the sort of the message that was coming. Or amongst Baganda, they would just take them to Chope. And then I came to actually realize that even within the north, like especially within the Lango area, the word Chope or Chopelwo, it is husbands who used to go away and walk away from their homes for a long time, leaving the wives to themselves. And because they were left to themselves, now they were there having to fend for themselves. So they would say their husbands are not there, and it would be Chopel War. So what did you find that was interesting with the culture now that you're married and you're happily married, as you say?
Yes, I am happily married, and the cultures are very interesting. There is so many things. I mean, you mentioned at the beginning that we know, that's the saying back home. The Bachotaras, for me, they are the Bachotaraha. Meaning they bring happiness and they bring everything.
They'll come and suck all the happiness out.
They bring joy to the family. There is an added value with marrying a woman like I married from that culture. Alhamdulillah. But again, there is that element where we see the cultures. I mean, we are learning from the culture. Like for me personally, I love the fact that you could be at home and the woman puts on a kabani, that's lovely scent. You sit at home. I mean, you sit down actually. You enjoy the food sitting around, like sitting down. Those kind of elements I love from that culture. And also they love some of my elements from the Baganda tribe that I bring onto the table in the family. The way I bring up my children, the way I teach my children how to have manners and values and respect. There was a lady that just spoken earlier on, and she said she would not exchange her religion for anything. I mean, there are certain things that we definitely carry along to bring into the family. And I'm thinking at this point in time, I mean, with the Harry and Meghan situation, I mean, we learned a lot. It was a 2-hour interview. So there was so much that was brought on to our attention and everything. But so I am one for the marriage of interracial.
So Umar, asking you this as a way of getting out, so that I go to Talha, who tried the Moroccan, and the expenses were just way out of his reach. Looking at this, but well, were there particular things that she found difficult to contend with? Things like kneeling down, but Chotara don't kneel. Does she kneel?
That's absolutely true.
you had to give up on that.
Even on my wedding day, I mean, she had to kneel down to my father and present a cake. Yeah. For her to stand up, it was a trouble. I actually had to physically give her a hand, help her up, because she's not used to that. Alone. It is a situation that I find with most of the families. Yes.
Thank you very much for joining the conversation. Talha Chigundu, welcome to the program. This is 75 W Radio, and the program is Come Let's Talk with me, Kasim Kaira, and we're streaming live on YouTube and on Zoom via UMMA Connected. Talha Chigundu, salamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much.
You put in the chat room something very interesting, and I wanted to pick up on that, which is you mentioned that you tried the Moroccan and it didn't work. I know some Ugandan who has a Moroccan. I think Dr. Rashid Semudu, the ambassador, has a Moroccan and it has worked out. Yours didn't. What happened?
Yeah, what's to do with them? Perhaps I think it's not about the race that perhaps Ugandan or from Africa. They're also from Africa, but I think it's in their country. Generally, marriage is expensive. Perhaps generally it's expensive, more than I could bear myself. But as I talked to her, she was willing. That was a good point that she's ready for. But perhaps the parents and the family back home will not accept that to go on. And perhaps other countries, it's not only about money. They will not accept to receive someone from a different race.
Right.
But what I would say, my father married from Khartoum. These Arabs from Khartoum. And what is interesting here, what was kind of a challenge, is joining the Khartoum cultures back home in Uganda, whereby some cultures are not matching. The family around want her to kneel down while greeting or giving something. Perhaps she's bringing water or juice to. They want her to kneel down, and she doesn't know all this stuff. And the home we are living with cousins around, and she's like, "These are supposed to be dressed. Your sisters are supposed to be dressed well. Why are they like living normally?" And these cousins
yes.
And yet here our culture, these cousins are sisters and brothers. So these are things that were different to be joined. And these cousins sometimes would like to come in the house without knocking, just in the house. But when they come this way, she used to complain, "No, you need to knock. I need to put on my veil. You can't just see me." So these were the challenges between the Banda culture and the Khartoum culture.
So that was your personal experience from your own family's perspective, and then you try to cross and go to Morocco. Ustad Zaid here in the chat room says many Ugandans have actually married Moroccans. You got to have something extraordinary, then they can simplify things for you. So sometimes, I mean, I've seen like with Arabs, especially now, they struggle to find spouses for their children simply because they're asking for 100 camels. Come on, even one camel is one way too much. You cannot contend with that in a normal situation. To imagine that you are going to find the 100 camels now to be able to provide for wedding as dowry, that's nearly impossible. You've spoken about the expenses. What exactly did they want that was so hard for you?
Actually, I didn't push further to talk to the family about what is needed. When I talk to Moroccans, other male friends of mine, I have Moroccan friends, and they're like, we ourselves can't get married yet. We are Moroccans and we can't get married yet. We don't have that much wealth we can bear to get married. And I was like, if a Moroccan is not yet ready to marry a Moroccan, and how will I get married a Moroccan?
So you just chased yourself. You just chased yourself in that particular way. Okay, thank you very much, Talha. Very much appreciated. Hajat Zamzam, please welcome to the conversation. If you could start your video, please. I'd like to hear your particular experience, please, regarding this particular topic. Interesting topic that we are talking about. Actually, so far we've just been touching on race, but there is the issue of the intergenerational and even, well, intertribal. Actually, we've touched two. We've touched intertribal and interracial, but there is also the issue of intergeneration. For him, that's really the life. They just want older women. And then just like there are younger women who just feel much more comfortable, they'll feel less stressed around older men. That might be something that is a conversation that can be part of this particular conversation. As you decide to go for either, you should be ready for what actually it takes. Hajat Zamzam, I don't know if you are not ready to speak. I've just been trying to unmute you and I don't seem to be getting you. Let's try Nora UK. Nora, welcome to the conversation. If you could please unmute yourself. Let's hear your experience, or probably. Hi, Nora. Hello, Nora. Let's go to Netherlands from Nora, UK, who's still not yet ready. Sarah in the Netherlands. Ajat Sarah, are you there? And I'm just looking at the chat room where conversations are still ongoing, slowly by slowly. It would be interesting just to hear a little bit of that. So while I get you ready to come in and have the conversation, Isma, please, if you can have the second video ready, just to give us a little bit of a glimpse while we get the conversation much, much deeper. Hood is busy in the chat room. I think Bamuli busy na ye. Zaidi Nkwerekere Kosebo Tumuchime. I think that is a confirmation on the issue of the Moroccans, that there are several Ugandans who have been married to Moroccans, but your pocket has to be deep enough. Talha again says, I think I should try again, Moroccan. Hey, it looks like, well, your love is there in Morocco. Maybe you'll find it there. Isma, if you are ready, let me know, please, so that we can play that video. I think I'll be able to see that. Yes, whenever you are ready, we can have that video. Sarah in the Netherlands, please, if you can be ready off the back of the video, we'll get to hear your own take on that. Remember, you can actually chat here or on Facebook. 75W Radio is the word, or just look for Kasim Kaira on Facebook. Thank you very much. Isma, thank you.
Family, Casey and I are humbled to have you here. We are grateful for the support you've given us. One, God putting that call on your heart to suspend everything that you had to do, your busy schedule, to travel all this far to come and be with us, share the joy with us, and walk us through. Support us, be with us, encourage us, speak life to us. I don't know if we have any words that would best describe how joyful and humbled we feel for everything you've done for us. This evening, we understand what it means. Last night, that us living single lives, that means to you who are married, tomorrow at this time, we'll be in the same company. Casey, I choose today to be your husband. I vow to be your supporter, protector, and best friend as we walk through this life together.
Tony, I choose today to be your wife. I vow to support, protect, and love you. Knowing that love is a choice, I choose to love you every day. Today I love you for your sense of humor, intelligence, your generous heart, and your ability to make any situation an adventure. I was working at SeaWorld. I was working my dream job, training killer whales, and I came to Uganda for the first time with Villages of Hope Africa, and my heart just broke for the Acholi people and for this place, and I knew God was doing something in that.
The first time I met Casey was in 2011. That was in December, the 28th to be specific, when she came on a mission team with Villages of Hope Africa.
And she came back, I think within a year or so, saying that she felt that God was calling her to Africa and she was going to walk away from her dream. To which, as a dad, I suggested maybe we slow up a little bit.
I can be quick to jump into something, get excited about something, jump into it. And so I said, God, if you ever want me to go full time, if you ever want me to move to Africa, make it very, very clear. About 2 years ago, it was very clear that it was time.
It was a difficult transition, but I will say as we've all become more knowledgeable, as we've gotten to know Tony, as we've gotten to be familiar with Uganda, we just feel really comfortable with what God is doing in her life and Tony's life and here in Uganda.
The friendship kept on growing. While she's here, physically we are together, serving together, spending time together.
We went from friends to just the closest friends ever. There's nothing we couldn't talk about except for the elephant in the room, which was, I'm pretty sure we both like each other.
Tony, the love of my life, my dynamic duo, the other pea in my pod, the bow to my arrow, my best friend. Today is the day I get to marry you, and from this day on, be your wife. I vow to honor you and serve you in my actions and words, reflecting Christ's love for his church. Today, I love you for your compassion and the way that you encourage and support me. I vow to walk alongside you as you grow and change, and I vow to love the person you will become.
I vow to speak kind and gentle words, both when I'm proud of you and when I feel disappointed. I love you now, and I vow to love the person you'll become as you change and grow in the coming years. God has given us this marriage as a gift, and I vow to cherish it as such.
Moving forward, I feel like we're both just really excited about getting to do life together, here or there, being together versus, I'm constantly bouncing back and forth, and I kind of live in these two worlds, and now we're gonna let those worlds collide and do it all together. It's truly home now, which it's felt like for so long, but it's whether we're in the United States or we're here, we are home to each other.
Tony, now you may kiss the bride.
Well. Welcome back. We are still live on 75 W Radio, streaming live on YouTube and Zoom on UMMA Connected as well. Lots of conversations. I'm sure this has gotten you talking. I was hoping to speak to Nora. It looks like where she is, she cannot speak, but she's put a message in the chat room to say my contribution would be people should consider courtship before they get married. Some people tend to rush into marriage, which has brought many problems. They should get to know each other and family where they both come from. Sorry, can't join into the studio. And Abdul Karim Mugabe says, to what extent can you trade off your family norms will always have an impact in your own life? Beka Chingi says katunonye ku bazungu anti abakyala bannayuganda batukowa. That opens up a whole new conversation. Ustad Zaid, I can see you contemplating. I'd like to get actually your own view on this. Where do you stand on this? Where you've seen those friends. You mentioned the Moroccans that have been married to Ugandans. What's your take on this?
Thank you, Keke. I would definitely marry a non-Muganda, a non-Ugandan, definitely. And after watching a video like that, who would be inspired? I have friends that have married non-Ugandans, Moroccans, whites, people. And they're happy. They're happy. I have my dad's koja, my dad's uncle. He lives in Denmark. He married his wife, I think, in the 1980s, and they used to come back home every year, and from Denmark straight to Mbuli with their kids. Not the Danish woman always wanted to stay in Mbuli and not in Kampala. Yeah, and it was true love for them. So I always admired him for that, for the love she had for him.
What was the perception from the family, especially the local the local family, the people?
They admired the woman. They admired my Jaja, who's my dad's koja. That he had a very nice woman because she was really kind to everyone. She used to kneel down and do everything. She used to go in the gardens and help out our grandmothers. She was a really kind woman, really kind. So if you find someone, if you find your soulmates, it doesn't matter which culture, which tribe, which nationality. It all depends on the feelings.
Now, regarding the third element, which I think has been dodged so far, I'd like to get your take, and then we'll open up the conversation wider. Just in terms of the intergenerational relationships, young women marrying older men marrying, or rather, older women marrying young men. What's your view? Do you think, again, it's down to love, or there's more to it than meets the eye?
Older women marrying young men and vice versa?
Yeah, younger women marrying older men.
KK, it's all about love. You love someone, you love something, go for it. I believe in go-getters, people that go for what they want. Yeah, you want something, go for it. Yeah, nothing stops you from getting it as long as you're not, as long as it's within the boundaries of your Lord.
Yes.
Yeah, if it's within the boundaries of your Lord, go for it. KK, I'm 43 right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I get an 18-year-old, a 20-year-old, are you gonna say, Zaid, what are you doing?
Well, I don't know.
If she's in love, he's in love with me, and we understand each other, and if she wants me, she can get me.
Well, you seem to agree with Zahab. Zahab Yunus says age ain't nothing but a number. Actually, Zahab, I'll be coming to you. I'd like to hear a little bit of that, probably this particular take, because Laila Kadbu says older women babera baku ngabato merada. Yes, Zaid genderi. So
listen,
that's the clear straight one. But actually, you find that some men will find older women to be, much more understanding. They've been around, seen it all, come back. The amount of care, the amount of attention that they will put, they might tend to value that your being there is actually sort of a bonus for them. It's not like they are doing you a favor.
Okay. My grandfather, his last wife was, the difference between them was 30 years. Yeah, 30 years. He married her when he was about 70 and she was about 40. He died in 1986. She's still there.
Yes.
So it's all about the feelings. It's all about love. It's all about understanding each other. KK, you can marry a 25-year-old, a 20-year-old that is way, better, much better in everything than a 35-year-old or a 40-year-old.
Well, let's hear from Kabarega Ali. I can see his hand raised up. And Aisha, please, you've raised an important point as well in the chat room. Please, Aisha and Zahab Yunus, be ready. Be ready. I'll be coming to you off the back of Kabarega, who has raised their hand. Aisha, you say society supports men getting younger women, but looks down on women going for younger men. I'd like us to explore a little bit of that. Please make sure you come on. I'm going to Kabarega Ali first. Kabarega Ali, if you can unmute yourself, please. Ustad, if you can help me get Kabarega, as I was trying to...
Sheikh Kabarega has a story to tell, definitely.
Kabalega Ali, yes. If
Yeah,
you
the
can.
prince, the prince from Bunyoro.
I've found him. If you can please start your video, Miss Sheikh Kabalega. Would like to see you as we hear you. Kabalega Ali.
I unmuted him.
I'm trying to get him to unmute as well. I don't seem to see him.
Don't unmute. Let me unmute.
Okay.
Sheikh Kawaliga, can you unmute yourself?
Because I'm sure he's seen the invites for the unmute.
Maybe, yeah. He's unmuted now, I guess.
He's unmuted. Okay, Sheikh Kawaliga, welcome to 75W Radio. Let's talk with me, Kasim Kaira. Yes, your point, sir.
No, he's off.
He's off? How
Yeah,
did he disappear?
He's logged out. I think he couldn't unmute himself. He's going to come back.
Oh dear. Okay, let's try and go to Zahab. Zahab Yunus, if you can find Zahab Yunus for me. Zahab Yunus or Aisha.
Oh, Aisha.
Aisha,
Okay.
yes. Aisha was talking about society looking down on women, on older women marrying younger men.
Aisha, she can unmute now. Aisha, you can unmute yourself.
Oh, thank you very much. Aisha, welcome to the conversation here. Come, let's talk with me, Kasim Kaira. Your take, you're saying society seems to support men getting younger women, but looks down on women going for younger men. Explore that a little bit more. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
I didn't really want to go into it that much, but it is exactly how it is. If a man finds a younger woman, then he's applauded, he's done well, he has a younger woman. Like Zaid said, he's 43. If Zaid marries an 18-year-old, I'd be very disgusted, Zaid, if you married an 18-year-old. But if as a woman, if I was 43 and I married an 18-year-old boy, everybody would be talking, the whole society would be talking, the whole Ugandan community would be talking how I married an 18-year-old boy. But if it's the other way around, then everybody would be like, oh, he did well, oh, he's so lucky, or how did you get that one, and they would all want advice to get a younger woman. And I think it's really unfair. I think it should work both ways. If men can get a younger woman, then women should also allow to get a younger man.
Aisha, Imam Kasos here in the chat room raises an important point. He says management of the family matters leads to that, Aisha. Secondly, we marry to have children. Talk to Imam Kasozi, try to convince him out of your particular situation. That is his view. We marry, management of the family matters lead to that. And then secondly, we marry to have children. Older women, the likelihood of having children probably is less in comparison to younger women.
I don't necessarily agree. Some older men already have children who are even older than their wives that they are marrying.
Imam Kasos, can you unmute yourself, please, and speak to Aisha? I'd like you to have a conversation with Aisha on this. Probably we can exchange views and just have it. This is your global community conversation. It will be interesting and nice as well that as Aisha is hearing from you, you can hear from her as well. Talk to Aisha, please. Imam Kasos. Yes, Aisha, go ahead as I get Imam Kasos. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Aisha is raising an important point here, and you seem to disagree.
I'm not just disagreeing. I am telling her the reality. My thesis for master's degree was about marriage and nuptiality, about nuptiality and fertility. And therefore, I had looked at those variables. And then the purpose of marriage, in most of our cultures, the purpose of marriage is to have children. And therefore, the reason why all the women, all the women, especially if they are approaching the age bracket of menopause, okay, it becomes almost impossible. The family itself will not. Remember, most marriages you see, they don't marry because of love. Love is a secondary factor. It just comes in with time. The majority of them is to expect children. And that's why, according to African traditions especially, if you get married in Africa, and by 6 months, the lady is not pregnant, you see, should be the
questions start
should
rising.
be the talk of the family.
It will be the in-laws.
Yes, should be the talk of the family.
But Aisha is saying, Imam Kasozi, actually, that's why I wanted you to have a conversation. Aisha, please feel free to respond to Imam Kasozi. I think the point was older women and not old women, because old is way out. But older women just means as they start
and the second thing is the issue you raised, that you see, we do not expect in our traditions, most of us all, including the Islamic tradition, the man is the head of the household. And it's not very easy for you to head a person that is older than you. It will bring a conflict of interest will automatically arise. That's why people underlook the whole idea. But that does not mean that people cannot marry people who are older than them, that men cannot marry people who are older than them. But it will depend on the needs and aspirations of that particular family that is going to have their child, their daughter, or their son get married.
Aisha, what do you say? Aisha, what do you say to Imam Kasozi? Because Sharifa here is saying there was a big post that we around about encouraging young people to stay away from cross-generational sex. You are speaking to Imam Kasozi, Aisha. Please go ahead.
Yeah, just to say that not everybody marries to have kids. And a lot of the time when these men marry younger women, they already have kids. So that's not the purpose of marriage, to have kids, you know. Imam Kasozi sounds like the only reason why people get married is to have kids. Like Zaid said, you know, if he could marry an 18-year-old, he already has kids. Why is he's not marrying an 18-year-old to have more kids? His wife is capable of having more kids. It's just men in society look at it as a trophy. When you have a younger woman, it's looked as a trophy.
Yes. And I understand where Aisha is coming from.
Yeah.
Okay. The point from where she's advancing her argument, I am very certain. You know, even those old men, why do they marry the young women so that they produce their children? It is again social security. Children in African context, social security.
So many kids you can't even look after. Which social security?
Is social security for the old man? As long as he's still living, he wants somebody to look after him. That's what I am trying to explain to you.
And I think Imam Kasozi, Mark Torokwa here in the chat room seems to agree. It says, I think that different people marry for different reasons, of which childbearing is just one of the many reasons. So there might be an issue, like Umar Nyanzi says, that I know older women who married for companionship, not for reproduction.
Yeah. And women also want to have a younger man to look after them when they're old. We want a younger man. You know, if I was 45 and I married an 18-year-old boy, nobody would look at it and say, oh, she wants somebody to look after her, someone to grow. They'd be like, oh my God, I'll be the talk of the whole country.
Every society, irrespective of where it is, the primary objective of marriage is procreation. And therefore, if they are not going to procreate, this business of we must not pretend. You see, it is easy to pretend, but I'm telling you the reality is, it is like you are marrying for the first time and you take on a widow, even if she's 22 years old. They will fight you. They can't not allow, because the traditions, very few will go beyond the thing that, you know, my faith tells me this one, I must go with this one. The faith is there, but we are preoccupied and actually overtaken by the sentiments of the cultures that are around us. So it is in the so-called developed society, where most of you now live on this program now. For them, they don't mind about that because they have lost hope in having children. They don't want to have children. Then they want to adopt other people's children from other places of the world. That shows that the importance of a child in any family. And let me tell you, my sister Aisha, any family, any marriage relationship that has no child is not likely to be stable.
I agree, but why
children,
can you have somebody closer to your age?
They cement. Many of you women, you actually in marriage is not because you are in love with your husbands. it is because of your children. I am here because of my children.
Brilliant. Okay, let's widen the conversation out. Thank you very much, Imam Kasozi, and thank you very much, Aisha. I think you are getting a lot of support. Kauthar, support for you on one part. Oh my God, I love this girl. That's Kauthar saying to Aisha. And Sarah Nansusa says Imam Kasozi is looking at it from the African context. In the Western world, people can live together for years before even children come into play. I think there was a very interesting message here from Hadija Nsanja, another new entrant into the conversation. Timing is important in marriages or relationships. When people are young, especially women, they just marry for formality, and women in late 30s and above, in most cases, want to settle down with men that want to spend the rest of their lives with. Kabarega Ali, it looks like now we have you. Welcome to the conversation. Kabarega Ali. I saw Kabarega Ali back. Kabarega, if you can unmute yourself, please. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Oh, you just muted yourself. I was trying to get you to unmute yourself. If you can unmute yourself, please. Yes, Kabarega.
Now.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum
salam.
Wa alaikum salam. Yes.
I'm really grateful for the program which is going on. Ekintu kino it's objective. Nekisokera ddala nga Allah watugamba mu Qur'ani wa min ayatihi an khalaqa lakum min anfusikum azwaja litaskunu ilayha wa ja'ala bainakum mawaddatan wa rahma. So from the religious, perspective, Allah nga bwatugamba mu Qur'ani mu bimu kugamba ku byokulabirako bya Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala okubeera nga yatonda omukyala. That is the proper interpretation. Okubeera nga Allah yatonda Hawa nga mujjamu Adam. Litaskunu ilayha. Ono Hawa ono abeera wa mirembe.
A source of
Adam.
comfort. Yes.
Yeah, a resource of comfort. So women are resources of comfort to men. And then Allah kyakola ekyaddako okubeera nga ateeka okwagala na wakati w'abantu. Which means love doesn't have boundaries.
Right.
Kakati love terina boundaries. Kyobulaba nti nno in Islamic jurisprudence waliyo amasala ag'okubeera nga tugamba tusobola okuwasa abatali basiraamu abasajja mainly okubeera nga owasa omukyala nga si musiraamu era bamanyi abasinga obungi nga Ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhu, that is his school of thought. Eyogamba nti nno Muslim men are allowed to marry Christian men.
Christian women.
Tebabawasa nti lwa ddiini. Yeah, tebabawasa nti lwa ddiini wabula babawasa lwa kwagala. Okitegeera babawasa lwa kwagala. Era Ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhu yawa ensonga ze n'agamba lwaki omusiraamu akkirizibwa okuwasa omukyala atali musiraamu naddala a Christian olw'ensonga nti omuntu ono aba ayinamu okukkiriza Katonda.
So all you do is build up already relationship. And you build up on that. I noticed that one interesting issue taking over the conversation in the chat room is about the issue that Imam Kasozi and Aisha were having in the conversation, where they spoke about the fundamental issue being about procreation. Love doesn't have any boundaries. Are you saying that it's okay about
kuba ekisookera ddala ekintu kino nga bwe ŋŋambye it is rational. Ekintu kino kugamba kiri objective. Argument eno eriwo saawa zino it is very objective. Kuba ekisookera ddala teri muntu alina knowledge nti agenda kuzaala omwana. However, nti ebiseera ebisinga ensonga lwaki tuwasa kitegerekese kwegamba teri muntu agenda kugamba bwe tuba tuwasa the primary issue here is to have kids. Naye ate tetukiinaako tukagamba tetukiinaako busobozi.
Naye obusobozi bwe buli Sheikh kubanga ti abantu bagenda ne bapima. Yes, well, oyinza obutali deciding until whether you'll have children or not. What issue of compatibility where you go and have tests that allow you to know that you are able to have children between the two of you. You've seen couples that have ended up marrying, without probably going for these particular checks, and then it becomes clear through the tests later on that they are incompatible. Yet, if they married a separate person, each one, they are able to have children. So, a potential way from a scientific point of view.
Anti kakati kyembadde nkyanyonyola nti ekintu kino nga bwe mbagambye nti kiri rational nti kakati wakuba nti saawa zino embeera kwegamba we are living in a world whereby everything is advanced. Osobola abantu basooka balinnya ku busozi ne batunula eri gye batannaba kutuuka embeera weeri naye ate abantu the primary issue eriwo nti yakubeera nga muzaala abaana kwegamba the reason why Allah Katonda yatukola n'atuteeka mu nsi okubeera nga tuyingiwala.
Okay, barakallahu fikum Sheikh.
Kakati ekirala nti ekirala kati nga tuvudde ku eyo issue nti waliwo n'eri embeera nti abantu basobola okubeeramu nga nti tebalina mwana tebalina baana. Ekintu kisoboka, it depends ku kwegamba kidependinga ku kukwagala n'okuli wakati w'abantu.
Ndoza kyekimu wano nambalirwamu na kya explaining wano mu chatroom again I'm a childless couple, but children are not an issue to me because children are a gift. If you haven't had them, still marriage can exist.
Era ensonga lwaki ndoza luli abaliko ku gwendikano ke kasembayo abaliko ku musomo gwa Sheikh Sekade bwe yali asomesa ku polygamy yenzijukira ayina ekigambo kyeyayogera agamba bwe tuba tuwasa abakazi most of the time polygamy teriiko nsonga nti mpasa lwakino nti lwakuba mpasa omukyalo n'ogwe mpasiza aganya okuzaala abaana kuba oyinza okuwasa era n'ogwowasiza era n'atazaala abaana kati kwegamba nti ekintu kino kidependinga ku love omuntu gy'alina ku muntu. Nabi Muhammad
it's about love. Okay, Sheikh Kabadega, I'm only trying to push you so that I can have more people.
Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam Imam afwan ekintu kino kirese mu mbeera bbiri ekintu kino kirese mu mbeera bbiri nti the primary issue the reason why abasajja tuwasa n'abakyala ne tufumbiriganwa tulina kube ensonga eriwo yakubeera nga tuzaala nakubeera nga tuyingiwala mu nsi naye ate embeera ey'okubiri embeera zino nzogeddeko olw'ensonga zonna nabbi yazirivingako nabbi yalinako abakyala abaazaala era nabbi n'abeera n'abakyala bataakola ki abakyala bataazaala era omu ku bakyala baava amanyikiddwa obulungi ataazaalako omwana yali Aisha radiyallahu anha. So kakati mweyo embeera nti kidipendinga kukwagalana okuli wakati w'abantu Allah kwaba ataddewo oba Katonda kwaba ataddewo wakati waabwe. Oba mulina abaana oba temulina abaana.
I'm only stopping you because I want to bring more people into the conversation. Now I think we've got a message here from Leila Kadru in the chat room saying to avoid stress, get married to sugar daddies. Tabitha Kakai says, when you get married and fail to conceive, automatically in-laws will chase you away because you are not producing children yet. Even men can fail to produce children. Imam Kasuzo, what do you know?
Yes, my last thing, and it is very good to give examples of the prophet. But we must also look at the purpose why the prophet married who and why. And you see, even the youngest who was Aisha, Yataza Lamwana, would have been for the purpose to demonstrate something. But what I want to say, that I am not saying that we young people must not marry old people. No. Secondly, I am also not saying that not to produce a child is an offense. It isn't. But the reality is, in the societies we live in, that is very, very, very critical. Even wherever I have traveled in Europe, in America, they will first of all ask you, do you have a child? Because for them, they don't mind. They can have children outside marriage, they don't mind. Okay. But for people who mind, when you get married, you expect at least to have somebody to add on the strength of the community you live in. But that should not deter us from getting married to people we love because of children as per se. But I have told you, I have a full research, a dissertation of more than 100 pages. And I did research I used 3,000 and I think 16 cases, people whom were interviewed. The results are really very, very clear, especially in the African tradition. 6 months, after 6 months, no signs of eating soil or whatever. Everybody, you become the talk of the family. Okay. No. Of course, I'm not saying that is right. I'm not saying that's right, but that's what it is. The problem is we tend to want to live in denials, even when we see things glaringly clear. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Barakallahu fikum. Ajati Joel yoweda ndabo uyingira bwovamu boyingira bwovamu basingiye badevuga. Are you in a place where you can maybe contribute to this conversation? I always like to have in as many people contributing, and I can see Stella Wandere. Is it Stella Wanderema? Stella, last time I couldn't get you on. Probably today is a chance to have you on. We're having a conversation on interracial, intertribal, intergenerational relationships or marriages. I'd like to hear your take. Hi, Stella.
Oh, hello. Hi, Kasim. Hi.
Oh, hello there. Welcome to the program. Last time we couldn't get you on. I think today I've managed to get you. What's your take? What's your take on today's conversation?
My take is that love is the one that conquers all, really. It's just the love, really. Yes. Whether you have children, whether you're from different tribes, whether you're from... Yeah, it's just as long as there's love, that's what matters.
Are you married, Stella?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Is this someone from your country or is someone
from my country? But I must say, my granddad did not approve of him, and although we're of the same tribe, my granddad said you should have married at least from the other tribe than marrying from that family because he did not approve of the family. So it's a funny one because my granddad thought at least you'd have gone to another tribe than marrying those people from that family. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's just life, really.
But love has withstood the test of time for you.
Yeah, sort of, yes.
Okay. No, you seem to be laughing it off. But okay, now regarding the intergenerational, young people marrying older men or older women marrying young men. What's your take on that? Do you think it's a problem? Is it still about love, or there's more to it than meets the eye?
Now that one, even me, I would struggle with a younger man, to be honest. Even just by 5 years, I would really struggle big time, I think.
How do you mean?
It's just something in my head that I'm supposed to get someone older or someone of my age and not younger. It's just something in the head. There's nothing wrong with the young men, I don't think. I think as long as they are mature and they show maturity in their reasoning, in how they behave, I think it's okay. But me, I still have that problem of the age, of being older than the man.
So you'd rather leave it to an older person. You'd rather be with a person that is within your age range.
Yes.
Or someone older.
Yeah, or someone older, but maybe because I've not found a woman, I've not seen women with younger men. Maybe if I started interacting with them, then with time it would become normal, it would become familiar. I would think, all right, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right, although if another woman came to me for advice, I would say, if the man is mature, just go for how he reasons, how he behaves, how he, the maturity is what matters. But for me to do it myself, I don't know whether I would do it, really.
Okay. Oh, brilliant. Thank you very much, Stella. And you've had your debut on 75 W Radio. And in the conversation, come, let's talk with me, Kasim Kaira. Thank you very much. Last time I was sad we couldn't get you on, but I think either it was your video or something. But I noticed that you had come into the program and we didn't get to speak. This is a program where we have a global community conversation. Everybody is always welcome. Thank you very much. Let's check on Daniel Rutaya, or Dawood Rutaya. Dawood. Dawood?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa
Wa
barakatuh.
alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Where do you stand?
My take on this is love is about choice. That's the first thing. Because if you choose the right person and that person ngamukwatagana bulungi mwetegeera musobola okubeerawo forever and ever.
So does age not come into the picture? Imam Kassol seems to say the young boys live in the armpits of the wives.
I think when it comes to age,
yes.
For me, I would not like to go to a young woman. I'm gonna say that because why? I don't think that they will be ready to look after someone or vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
And also you find that most of women also, they like to have someone who is mature, ngaina brain always our guru, second nemyaka jenga jikuze asobola okukola ki okubeera nga asobola okuhandlinga issues zonna ezibeerawo mu bulamu.
Yes.
So ndowooza ekintu kya age kiri matalinga nnyo ng'omuntu achoosing omuco balina nkozesa ekintu choice.
Yes.
Choice nkulu nnyo ng'oconsidering ebintu bingi naye emyaka kintu kikulu nnyo nakyo.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for your contribution. Chiwanuka, your hand is up. Barakallahu fikum, Dawood retire. Chiwanuka, looks like we've tickled you. Something that is happening. The conversation is actually heating up in the chat room. I can see nearly 70 messages. It's just getting crazy. Welcome to the program.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Mbalamusiza mwenna abateesiteesi banne mwebale tuzangulu.
Amen.
Nenze, I've got the feeling of these two silver foxes, either male or female. Sorry.
You've tampered with the button. Yes, let's get to see it. Brilliant. Yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I was saying about the two silver foxes, either male or female. About flexing a muscles and nina feeling into baba flexing financial muscles.
Yes.
Kubanga, in most cases, what I've seen, I've got no evidence, research evidence, but what I've seen or heard, in most cases, people with money, especially men and women, they've got to have financial muscles. Very few times you find a young girl actually attracted to a man like me with Sula Walimu Katanga, Taina Motoka, Naga Antinoka J afumile mukazigwe. Most cases, bagala omusajja nga aina motoka, aina amaka, awo naye naafunira engombe egamba ati naye naanoonya waafiira, inshallah. Naye nga n'abakazi nze nsuubira nakyo, in most cases, very few time wosanga omukazi nga she's broke, n'agenda n'omuvubuka ali mu myaka egikola ki egya wansi.
In fact, Hadija Nsanja says, Hadija Nsanja wanagamba, I doubt if the respect I doubt if the respect I would give a man younger than me would be the same I would give a man older than me. So it goes down to that. But Aisha is saying, Laila, old men are worse because they are stuck in their old ways. It's like teaching an old dog new tricks, which won't happen.
But if he's got a financial muscle, we need to remember that financial muscle sometimes overlooked.
Musa and Bike is saying marrying someone younger, they will probably never call you by your name. They will use words like sebo etc, and they'll be embarrassed to ask you to do these dishes. So they don't want. Musa and Bike doesn't want to wash dishes. So Arabanga option that is easier now is for him to opt very quickly to that. Chiwanuka, thank you very much. I'm not leaving you. A lot more people coming in. Well, lots of conversation. I mean, this is quite an interesting topic, really. Old men are looking for people to look after them. So Sulaiman is saying, if you marry an old man, this is someone that is actually there's a very interesting video that was running during the course of the week of an 83-year-old man in Mitiana who got married to a 29-year-old woman, and people were sort of raising issues about it. And he's saying he's never been that happy in his life. Very quickly, the inheritance will be signed off as quickly as possible. Now, but we seem to be having something that is burning with you. I'll bring you back. Please unmute yourself. Are you unable to unmute yourself? I'm trying to see. Yes, unmute yourself, please.
Okay,
and keep
unmuted
it short. We are getting tight on time.
Yeah, people marry for different reasons. When it comes to age doesn't matter. As long as someone is above 18, can decide, because marriage is a decision one takes.
But Mona,
Yeah. For me, let me tell you, I don't want to be that this or this. Fact is, love knows no boundary. As long as someone is of 18 years of age, is mature and an adult. No matter who you marry, at what age, what matters, your character, values, etiquettes.
Yes.
That is what matters.
That's what matters. So the community,
Yes.
the community
Your
doesn't
character,
matter.
values,
You don't care
etiquette.
what society says. You don't care what society says.
Why should I care about marriage, about society? I don't marry for society. I marry because it's an ibadah.
Yes.
I shouldn't care about society because I marry because it's an ibadah as a Muslim.
Yeah.
Instead of being in zina, I'd rather be married.
Thank you very much. Hajati Joe.
Yeah.
Hajati Joe. Thank you
But
very much.
At the same time, I cannot get married. I would not wish anyone to be married to someone who has a low understanding of life.
Okay.
No matter what age.
Barakallahu fikum. Hajati Joe, you have the mic. Welcome to the conversation.
To me, I think marriage is all about happiness.
Yes.
I'll not do my video on, but I think everyone can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, I think it's all about happiness. Someone might marry someone younger. An older man might marry someone younger, but then that younger will not make him happy. And then
how do you define happiness? Where would you place the happiness? Is
two
there
things where you find happiness in bed?
Yes.
Two things where you find happiness. Some people will say it's all about money. It's not all about money. A person will have money but will not make you happy in bed.
Yes.
We are all old enough. I don't think there is someone who is it not mature enough on this program? I don't know. If a woman is not good in bed or a man is not good in bed, that is a fake marriage. Definitely someone will go out.
So to you, you're saying money, the happiness is
money is good,
yes.
But it's very important, bed and the kitchen. A man will be satisfied if you are good in bed, and also you can make very good dishes for him.
Yes.
Even look after him. That is more important. It doesn't matter if the boy is young or old, whatever. You love each other. You have the happiness in the bedroom. I think
on tonight's conversation, Hajati Joe, if you think about the marrying across cultures, across races, what's your take on that? Do you think it matters if Yusuf turned up home and brought a wife from, with a white girl or someone from the Caribbean, probably? How would you feel?
Is the religion.
Yes.
Is that girl going to accept Islam? That's the first question I'll ask.
Yeah.
Are you happy? Is he happy? Yes, you're happy. But then if the girl is not a Muslim, I'll just have to advise as a mother. But then I can't do more.
Yes.
But what is really very important is to make sure that girl makes him happy. Because if he's not happy, he'll bring in someone else.
Brilliant. Okay. And with generations, because you've spoken about it being just about love, it doesn't matter what age it is, because I'm still looking at the age aspect.
Yeah, the age aspect. I think 4 weeks ago, is it with Sheikh Seka, they said, women over 40, something like that. I don't remember very well. Over 40, they are not maybe active or something like that. but I
They are
don't
not.
think
They are not
all.
active.
Yeah, some of them, or because you are old, you are not very active because of the age.
When you say active,
some women that
sorry to interrupt you. When you say active, what do you mean? Active in what sense?
Women, what is it called? I think they're not active in the bedroom like the young girls.
Well, I would beg to disagree. Actually, I've realized that actually when women get to 40s, that's when they actually get very crazy.
Yes, that is the point I'm raising.
That's what
That's
I've
why
heard
the young boys like older women, because older women know all the tactics, and they are more active than even the young girls. They are very, very active. The young girls, yes, they will come in, but the moment they switch, 5 minutes, they are what? An older woman can make a man sweat. This is a live conversation. Let me come off, Sheikh.
All right, thank you very much.
That's how I see it.
Right, barakallahu fikum. And let's wait for the sweating for those who will sweat, as you say. Well, lots of conversations going on here in the chat room. I can see Ustad Zaid, it's a conversation now between Imam Kasozi and many of the young people here. Largely we go for intergenerational relationships, either for selfish intentions, frustration, or lust for wealth. Musa, if you are there, I just wanted to balance. I want to get man, woman, just to sort of balance our conversation here. Just to remind you, you are live on 75W Radio. The program is Come Let's Talk with me, Kasim Kaira, and today we are talking interracial, intertribal, intergenerational relationships. Very beautiful conversation, and I thank you all that have participated in this conversation so far. We are 18 minutes to the top of the hour when we shall be ending our conversation. Just to remind you that tomorrow on Thursday, we will be, today is Tuesday, so on Thursday, there will be a special program on UMMA Connect regarding immigration issues. So if there is anything that you would like to know about immigration, we shall have a professional lawyer, a solicitor, an immigration lawyer who will be coming in to talk to you, answer your questions, answer your concerns. That's a very good opportunity on UMMA Connected. That's on Thursday this week, inshallah. Conversation continuing here. I'd like to speak to Musa. Musa, are you there? Hajat Zamzam have tried so much. Hajat Joy has just excited us here. I hope probably you could also add into the conversation. Hajat Zamzam, are you there? Or you are in the Kamol? There's another Zamzam. Zamzam Muanga, I think. Zamzam, do you want
she's
to...
She's the one you want. Zamzam Muanga, she's the one you want.
Oh, there was another Hajat Zamzam, and then there's Zamzam Muanga. Hajat Zamzam Muanga, please, if you can come in. Yeah, thank you very much. Your take on the conversation so far. Welcome to the program. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yes, I agree with Sister Aisha on for one reason whatsoever. I find the generations that we live in, men are more concerned about their happiness, whereas they always try to disregard the woman's happiness. It's always, the Prophet said, a man should marry more than one wife. It's never about what the woman would feel like. And most of these men are in their old age. They can't even satisfy one woman, but they're always going for these young girls, and they can't even do anything for themselves. And this is what there used to be terminology such as halal zina. A man would just go in, he'll marry a woman, and then before you know it, he's divorcing her. Oh, my wife is threatening to divorce me and take my children. Literally, they're only waiting for their lasts. And for the older men marrying young men, for me, age is nothing but a number. And if I saw somebody and I like that person, I would marry them, whether they're old or they're young, and I really don't care what the society think of me, because at the end of the day, like a sister said, I'd rather do halal and marry somebody than fall into zina, because the society is going to be looking at me funny, thinking, oh, such a cougar. Where the man marries a young woman, they call him all such brave names. I think it's really unfair. And I just really don't understand why it seems to be that society accepts.
How can we create that fairness, Zamzam? Because you say within society, I think that has been the perception. Do we throw it into their faces that they start getting used to it now, or how do we manage that society now appreciates that can happen? You fall in love with someone, you like them, age doesn't matter according to you. How do we create the advocacy? How do you just do it until people just get used to it, or do we throw it into their faces?
I think if a woman comes and says, Imam, I found a man who I'm interested in, this is the man I want to get married to, that is okay. It should not be questioned, oh, he's too young, this and this and that. Whereas if a man came to Imam and say, oh, Ahi, I found a woman I want to marry, she's 18, subhanallah, mashallah, is all praise. So, you know, the same way you're praising a man should be the same way you're praising a man. And also you always talk about me, not to say I'm against polygamy, because it's written in the Quran, but at the same time, you need to look at the things that the Prophet did. When Fatima, when Fatima's husband, I think was it Zaid? Ali. Yes, when Ali wanted to check on a second wife, Aisha went to her father, and her father, what did the father say to Ali? He wasn't happy with the situation, and Ali left it. But if you're a sister who comes and say, I'm not good with such situation, me personally, I cannot deal with polygamy. That is one thing I always say to I cannot deal with polygamy. That is something that would just push me off the edge. But if a woman comes and say, it's not for me, ukhti, fear Allah, you're not going to go to Jannah. Who are you to promise whether you're going to go to Jannah or not going to go to Jannah? No, seriously, brothers need to seriously stop condemning sisters for not accepting polygamy. It is not for everybody. Just because it is allowed, it's not allowed for everybody, and it's not for everyone.
Well, do you think that there should be a sort of a conversation around that? Because I don't think there is any woman who would really honestly like polygamy. I think they find themselves crossing into that line. But I think that's the topic actually probably we should dedicate another day so that we can come and tamper into that region. Sheikh Sekadi does touch a lot of that, but I think we could come with a different angle, which I'm sure from this conversation that we are having, we can actually sort of make something out of it. But looking at it from that perspective that you have raised, where intergenerational relationships actually sort of create tension within communities, is it about perception? Because if you look at it, I mean, why is it difficult for people, for society to sort of appreciate that an older woman can actually have a young man? Because the perception is for older men looking for younger women, they say they are looking for new blood. They are recharging the batteries to live longer.
Yeah. I think it's mostly in African society. I did not really grow up in African society. I was raised up here in the West, and I seem to find it okay. I think it's fine. But I think like Sheikh Chigozi, I think he said, in African societies, if you're married, especially to have children, and not everybody marries to have children. I have my own children, and if I was to marry again, I'm certainly not marrying to have more children. I am marrying to have a companion, because at the end of the day, like somebody did say, it's not guaranteed that when you get married, you're going to have children. So I think, sorry, go on.
I am asking, is it?
Oh, still there.
Yes. Yes, I want to ask a simple question. Yes. Even the Western society we are talking about, it is not all rosy. Actually, people have a lot of problems because of not critically thinking on what should be in a relationship for them. Because people just stress love. Love is a very, very, very relative thing, and love, like any other thing, it expires. With time. You see, very few people will have that love consistently. That's why, in the Islamic perspective, because we knew that, Allah knew that, and then he says, when love has had its problems, then be merciful. Yes, be merciful to each other.
But I'm not going to be merciful to you if you're bringing.
And then in the process, you will maintain the relationship normally, rather than just thinking, I am here for children, I am here because the man has money, I am here because I want to dominate this one. That does not bring happiness to any relationship at all. That is
and not necessarily having women is going to bring happiness. And from what I've seen, especially in African communities, especially Ugandan men, Ugandan men always abandon the children. When the brand stuff hits the fan, they're ready to go. They're ready to chase after young girls.
You said some Ugandan men, not Ugandan men. I have not abandoned the men.
Maybe you assume, but we're not going to not talk about the elephant in the room. It is what it is. A lot of African men, mostly I'm going to talk about Ugandan men because it's what I know most of. They will run away. They will be chasing after young girls and they will abandon the children. So called, as we say, that we marry for children. These children you're claiming to be having. Yet again, when things don't suit you, you're ready to run off and just leave them. And then again, the woman is just by herself. The children. Yes.
Zamzam, my here is in the chat room saying we also want husbands. Sharing is caring. Some of us also need husbands, and sharing is caring. What would you say to her?
I'm a very caring and loving person by nature. I love to be loved and love to love. I'm
Yet
very
you don't
caring
like to share. Yet you
I don't
wouldn't
like to
want
share. No, because the same thing as a man would not like to share his woman. I believe so is the same. Because when God made us, he gave us a heart. He didn't make a woman's heart different color from a man's heart. And they expect us to be strong. No, Allah put polygamy in place, but it is not for everybody. There are women out there who don't mind, but it's not for me and it's not for every woman. And I want brothers to stop criticizing women who cannot handle polygamy and be like, oh, ittaqillah, ukhti, Allah, subhanallah, you're not going to go to Jannah. Who are you to tell me I'm not going to go to Jannah?
Zamzam, thank you very, very much. Thank you. I can hear the passion in your voice. It says a lot. Let's just allow some other people to come into the conversation. We've got 9 minutes to the end of the program. 9 minutes to the end of the program, and I want to stick to time today, as usual. I think we've had a very, very interesting conversation here. Becca Chinji, is it because you've heard about Ugandan men being spoken about that then all of a sudden you are coming in? Go ahead.
Definitely, Sheikh. I know that's my calling. You know this already. That is my calling. I think the problem with Ugandan women, they need to love themselves first. That way, Ugandan men will love them. I think it's all about self-love. We spoke about love last week. And the issue is self-love. If you love yourself, I'm sure you'll be all right.
No, but Sulaiman is saying we only know Ugandan men, so we need to talk about Ugandan men. So the reference when it comes
not everyone is
on
the same.
Ugandan men is because it's Ugandan men that you know.
If you made the wrong choice, Sheikh Aida, that's not everyone's problem. If you made the wrong choice, that was your choice. You just need to ask Allah to help you guide through that choice and work through it. But you cannot just judge that regarding everyone because you haven't been with all Ugandan men.
Brilliant. Okay, barakallahu fikum. Kauthar, I'm sure you've been following the conversation, especially in the chat room. You've been actually sort of chanting around the conversation. I'd like to hear your own take on this. Kauthar? Kauthar, are you there? It is 8 minutes to the end of the show, and I'm just going around sort of hearing, wanting to get views. Naima Kaira, let me hear your own perspective. You married a man who is not from your tribe.
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi.
Interesting. I was really cautious about culture. I think that's the most fear I had because marrying from different races, you're looking at different culture. I personally was really not terrified, but and I'm sorry, Baganda made, but I'm not a fan of kneeling, So to be honest, I had to go on to pray tahajjud and say, Allah, please, when I get married, let me not get a man who is really liberal about kneeling, I think. So it's about fearing, meeting the expectation of the other culture or the race. I think for me, that was it. And I remember going to Rwanda when I was a bride with all this henna and everyone saying, my God, the bride has a skin disease. The bride they've brought has a skin disease. So it's about people being ignorant about the other culture and the fear on how they'll get on.
How easy did you find fitting into that?
I think you made it easy because you laid the foundation and that was helpful as well. So, but obviously our end, and that's my mother's end, I wasn't quite, because as obviously from the Swahili culture, the Wanyema culture, I don't think we have those sort of strictness around culture. So I wasn't worried about my end, even my mom's culture, because they're quite liberal as well, and they are very welcoming. So it was more of your end that I was quite terrified about. So I think it's about finding those grounds and being able to get a partner who really makes you comfortable. I think that's it. And not put pressure on you that you have to do this, you have to do this. Assalamu alaikum.
Barakallahu fikum. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Jamila and Subuga, I'm just wrapping up, so I need to put in those last comments. Please make sure you don't leave with our interesting conversations. Hajat Naima doesn't support polygamy. That is Hajat Joeria there. Imam Kaswazi, my preference is religion. The rest just follow good practicing Muslim. I had Jamila and Subuga. Jamila and Subuga, please, if you can come in, if you don't mind. Jamila Subuga, if you can unmute yourself, please. Jamila, we are tight on time. I've seen a new person as well. I always enjoy taking in the new members that come into this conversation. This is our global community conversation. No topic is out of discussion, but we do that within the confines of decency. Sylvia Kone, I see you are a new person. I think this is the second time I'm seeing you on the program. Sylvia, do you mind sharing your views, at least on the issue of interracial or intertribal or even intergenerational relationships? Sylvia? Sylvia, are you there? Right, Sylvia is shying, I think. Tabitha, I think you did comment a little bit in the chat room. Maybe we can hear from you now. Tabitha, are you there? Tabitha? Hi, Tabitha, are you there? There is a 66011. Remember, you can actually put in your conversation. You can put in your comment either in the chat room. Some people are shy to appear on the mic, but here it is actually where we just have the freedom to just chat away, talk about our feelings, about what we feel. Laila Kadu was saying that she was worried about marrying a pure, typical Muganda who would ask to kneel even in impossible situations. I'm fine with my husband, half Muganda and half Rwandese. Tampa Mateka. You can live on that. Yes, sir.
I think people shouldn't intimidate women when they say no to polygamy, because most men would intimidate, would bring in verses that are not even suitable. For that topic. Like Surah Tahrim it's not suitable. If someone says no to polygamy, it's not a sin, it's not a crime in Islam.
It's a feeling, it's a position that they can hold.
Feeling. And it's not a commandment from Allah. No. It's just an option that a man can have. You can have 2 or 3 or 4 or 1. So a woman, if she doesn't want to be in polygamy, it's her right.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you very much, Ustad Zaid. Asia, Hajat Asia there. Yes, Hajat Asia. Hajat Asia, I'd like to hear your comment on this. We are just wrapping up, 2 minutes to go. Oh my God, that's quite close. Asia, your opportunity to say something.
Give me a second after Asia.
Okay, Asia seems to be a bit hesitant. I think she's just listening in the background. Maz, please, you are on the show live on 75W Radio. Program is Come Let's Talk with me, Kasim Kaira, with nearly about 2 minutes to wrap up. Maz, I'd like to hear your take. You've listened to this entire conversation from start. What's your takeaway? What do you make of it? Maz?
Oh my God, Sheikh, but that's already called.
Well, salamu alaikum. Well, that's the thing about this conversation here. It's freestyle. We don't really have to prepare papers to start talking. It's just your view. You've been listening into this conversation. What's your take?
I have, alhamdulillah, wa alaikum salam. I think there's a lot of, when it comes to second wives and all that kind of stuff, there is a lot of emotions that come into it. And like a few people have said in the chat, and what Zaid just said, some men use it to intimidate women, but not everyone can actually. Oh, sorry, there's a lot of noise. So can you reduce the volume? So not every man, I think, me personally, I'm not for polygamy. as it is, simply because of how I've grown up. Examples that I've seen within my family, it's not something I admire and I don't want anything to do with it. But what I realized based on the lessons that Seka Day has taught is that at some point you is something you expected from men. If he doesn't marry someone else, if he doesn't have a second wife, he either gonna cheat, but not all men are the same. And you just trust Allah. It's a choice. I remember there's one time during Seka Day's lesson, I said it's a choice. And someone replied, it's not a choice. Men have to do it, especially when they have money, they can manage it. They have to marry a second wife. I'm like, it's not really a must, because when you look at the verses, it says if you can marry, but it's not a must. I don't think the Quran enforces it on people to have second wives, not because not everyone can manage it.
Right. Okay. Imam Kasos had a point to make. Imam,
yes.
If you can unmute yourself, please.
My sister, suppose I don't know that you have daughters. Supposing you have a daughter, and your daughter.
I am not married yet. Sheikh.
She's not yet married.
Okay.
She's still.
If you were married, and your daughter is widowed at 25, and nobody is willing to take her as a first wife, would you recommend her? What would you recommend her for? To stay sister or to get married to a man who has another wife?
I think that is her choice in the first place if she really wants to remarry, because not everyone that is either widowed or divorced wants to marry again. It depends on what she's looking for. It's a choice for her to make and what kind of husband she wants. She could be
as a human being, at 25, can she live in celibacy? It is not possible. Now, what do you want her to do? If everyone who comes says, she lost a husband, I cannot marry this one. And the only people available are those that have other wives. That is number one. The second thing is that
Sheikh, move on to Nene. You cannot tell me that the only people available are those that have wives already.
That's a conversation that we'll definitely, I think, have to explore on a separate day, because Naima Kaira here is saying we will divide. Imam.
Sheikh Kaira.
Yeah.
The other thing is that we must not only focus on when we just focus on failed cases, we forget that they are successful stories. We must, for people to understand this. And then
Imam, your network has become the Mawanga.
Enrich our well-being. Okay.
All right. Okay. Barakallahu fikum, Imam Kasos. Thank you very much. Your network was actually beginning to falter. And here, I think Naima Kaira is saying we divide the man's strength at Nemuta Kuta. We start taking Panados. That's justification now there. And I think at the end of it, where I think this is from Mark, who was saying that ultimately, when all is said and done, we should just put into consideration those different aspects of life. Well, it's about the choices that we make. It's the choices that we sit by, choices that we must live by once we have made them. I can see people who have raised their hands. I'm going over the time, which I always hate. I'll allow the hands that haven't spoken. I'll start with you, Jamila and Subuga. Please come in. I tried to get you and then we couldn't get you on. Jamila and Subuga, if you can unmute yourself, please, and go ahead.
All right, thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa
barakatuh. This is my first time to join, to be with you people, but I'm giving the honor to my dearest husband. He's actually listening. Allow me not to turn on the video, please. Thank you so much.
Okay. That's fine.
All right. So I'm going to go back to the the previous discussant. She was talking about polygamy, and then there was some supplements about someone being a widow, and then you have to choose to marry to get married to a polygamous man because you're a widow. Like, really, I don't think we should take it in society and we accept that as women, yes, we understand things can happen. Yeah, but we need to take a stand. Like, what do you want in life? Should I go for a polygamous man because I'm a widow? Like, really? Now, I don't think we should give reasons to those who have lost their dear ones to settle for less, because that is what.
Jamila, it's not settling for less, but doesn't it make it much more harder? Because you've been married, any man who probably will come, the chances are, if you hear that you are married before, the likelihood is probably they might be hesitant. They might be looking as well for a woman who has never been married before. So would it not make sense for you to consider that? Of course, it's not today's topic, but we've ended up crossing into that area. Yes, but would it be something, because if someone said that way, wouldn't it have some validity to it?
Oh, okay, I'm thinking, according to my experience, I'm thinking it wouldn't be the case. Like being married before, even men get married before, and they look out for those young women. So I believe there are some people who are looking for that particular woman, not because that she was married before. No. It's because that someone is looking for love, someone is looking for comfort. So if you're there and you can give it to that person, then why should we, looking for polygamous men? No one would love to, yes. Even that widowed woman is looking for a single man. Is not looking for a polygamous man.
So what if you ended up, falling for an already married man? I mean, would there be any crime in that?
Yeah,
it might be that actually they are very understanding. They are already in a relationship. That might make them much more viable.
I think it's a choice. Love is just a choice. What do you want? It depends on your happiness. Okay, you can't settle in for someone that you don't love because you've been married before. You rather stay celibate than getting married to where you're not comfortable with. So I believe.
Yeah, Jamila, thank you very, very much and for joining this conversation. We hope we'll still have you on here. We are live on 75W Radio and streaming as well live on YouTube and on Zoom via UMMA Connected. Talha Mohammed, you are the person to have the last word. You had already spoken, but I'm allowing you because your hand was up, and since we've crossed the time, sincere apologies to those who have joined us for the first time. We were meant to be finishing at 10 o'clock, but we look like we are stretching just to have that one last word, and then we will wrap this up. Talha, please keep it sweet and short so that we can let people go into other programs.
Yes, thank you very much. I just wanted to clear the misconception or the concept where past saying it's the same where when a man gets to marry an older girl or lady, it's the same with the lady, older lady to get married to a young man, and they're bringing evidence the prophet. And this is a misconception because this is the issue that happened even before revelation, and yet the prophet has been advising the companions. You see where a companion gets married, and he's like, did you marry a bikra, a young, or a thayyib? And he's like, thayyib. So why not bikra? And when you see the supplication that we pray for each other, we're like, وَزَوَّجَكَ اللَّهُ أَبْكَارًا, let Allah grant you the virgin ones, the younger ones. Why are we not saying let him grant you the thayyib? And when you see when we are getting promised the women in the paradise, Allah is promising us that these women are going to be younger. So why are we trying to balance to say it's the same as an older lady getting married to a younger man, and as the man getting to marry? No, it's not. It cannot be the case. Someone who gets to marry a man gets to marry a younger girl, a younger lady. That's a virtue. That's something special. And it's not special when he gets to get married or he gets to marry an older. There's nothing as to compare with the prophet that Khadija got married to the prophet when she's younger than him. That is something that happened before revelation. Right. And if that's the case, he did not give any go ahead like he's advising. He said, "Tazawwaju al-walud al-wadud." Get to marry those loving women, those fertile women, and we know the fertile women in this case, those loving women and fertile women are younger in this case, because the young women, they have this kind of games that they're playing around, they're having the pure love, and they're still fertile, they're not grown up. So this is
Thank you very much, Talha. Thank you very, very much. And just to remind you that tomorrow on 75W Radio at 7 p.m., Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, the scandal, that will be the topic for tomorrow's discussion. Don't miss that at 7 p.m. with Becca Chiinji, if you can. As far you can see your hand, I had said Chingundu Talha was the last person. I'm feeling shy to let you go.
I just beg you for just A few seconds.
No worries.
As somebody who has children, I don't have sons, I have daughters, but as somebody who has children, who has a Ugandan with brothers, this business of ostracizing or degrading the Ugandan men, it really, really, really bothers me. That as you raise children, when you have that mentality, it narrows, what does it say about who we are as a people? How are we going to respect other people's cultures? We of our own, we think they're not all that, you know? And wherever you go, you may marry a Nigerian, you may marry a white. A man is a man, and what makes your marriage, what will make your marriage successful, or what will make everything successful has nothing to do with where you come from or who you are as a person. But this business, Uganda, the Ugandan men, it really, really bothers me. I think our Ugandan sisters, I'm begging my fellow Ugandan sisters to please stop undermining your own brothers, your own kind, because if you do, they will not take you as serious either. Thank you.
Barakallahu fikum. Message from Ismail Kaumbi who says, Assalamu alaikum. Hi, sisters and brothers. It's not very easy to get good partners out there. I help brothers and sisters in this, but it's not easy. Check the ratio of men to women. Thus, getting a good one is not easy. That's why some sisters marry as second wives or go into relationships as second wives. And last message here. We're saying Ugandan men are definitely not real men in all aspects. Zamzam Mwanga says, I'm sure Hasfa would have an issue with that. And Ustad is saying, we can say the same about Ugandan women, though it looks like now it's a war. It's a war of who is saying what in that perspective. I don't think that would be a good point at which to end the conversation. Hajat Joera says it depends on how you communicate with your husband. I think it's about the relationship between the two parties, whether to embark on the journey towards polygamy or not, which has not been today's topic, but then somehow, somewhere, you end up crossing into these areas. It's difficult to just determine. Charity starts from home, says Mark. And with that note, I think I should just end the program. Thank you very, very much for being part of this global community conversation. I hope you can join me next week on Tuesday, but don't forget, if you can, 7 p.m. tomorrow, Bridging the Gap with Becca Chiinji, and they'll be looking at the Meghan Markle and Harry scandal. And then on Thursday, we've got the immigration story on UMMA Connected. If you can, please, if you have any issues to do with immigration, family reunion, blah, blah, that's the moment to have a chance to speak to Sean, the immigration lawyer, solicitor, that will be able to answer lots of these questions. Friday, we go to the Quran sessions on UMC. Saturday, we have the economic program on UMC as well. And then on Sunday, Sheikh Seka Day as usual. Don't miss an opportunity to be part of this conversation that is ongoing. Thank you very much for making today quite a beautiful day. I can only say thank you very much and have a good night. Don't forget, this is Come, Let's Talk with me, Kasim Kaira. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and have a good night. Bonsoir. Or bonsoiré.
Assalamu warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, KK. See you tomorrow, inshallah.
Inshallah, we are done here. We can start celebrating now and go on to Baba Deba Budese, Sewan Mungavum Pitaita Kuisi, when you feel Zaid scenes, Toxari's. About pharmacy we did that. Asia, you avoided us out of
guys.
Today was just hot.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I was busy reading.